Welcome back. This is going to be like a bi-weekly thing, but just like a little chill. Since I make all these little meals at night, we can still do like the mukbang type of thing, but more or less talk about what we're cooking. We'll have some like healthier food reviews. I ordered a bunch of the protein bars that y'all was talking about in the last video. A lot of suggestions, so I appreciate that. Those are on the way. They're not here yet. Right now, today, it is like midnight on the 4th of July. So I just got back from like the whole fireworks thing. I did a couple things today, which I want to talk about after we show the food, but let's start off with what we have today. Start off with the vegetables. Vegetables are just as important to me as anything else, but same thing as we do all the damn time. This time we got the Brussels sprouts and the roasted asparagus in the air fryer. Salt, pepper, and garlic. I just put that in the steam bag. Somebody asked this. Good question. Never thought of it. Keep asking questions, man, because I'm just doing this off rip. So a lot of times I don't really know what people want to know, but these are the steam bags. I cook them first and then I put them in the air fryer. You don't necessarily have to, but I feel like it just makes it a little more convenient, a little less time. So each of them, I'll cook for 5 minutes and then 5 minutes in the air fryer just to make them a little charred, a little crispy. So the Brussels sprouts, salt, pepper, garlic on both of those. And that's it on that. I had a little something different today to my chicken thighs. I'm probably have to move these, but we got the eggs, 2 whole eggs on here on the lemon pepper chicken thighs. I hope I didn't just bust my yolk, but got about 4 chicken thighs, which lemon pepper, which we roasted off in the air fryer, and then we just fried some eggs up. Little secret that I do with that, it ain't no damn secret. It's just something that I like to do. I will actually use egg whites with my whole egg, so I have liquid egg whites and whole eggs. I use 2 today, but sometimes I'll use 1. And then in my pan, I'll just pour 3 or 4 egg whites worth to make it like a bigger patty. So these ain't no big-ass eggs. They're just, it looks like that. But that's what's up for today. And also, we got the mustard that I bought at that Uncle Giuseppe's vlog that I said I really like, which is that sweet and spicy, which I'll throw off like right there. And then just for a little dippy dip every once in a while. I always talk about switching up condiments, and that's what I like to do. So this is one of the thighs. They're not that hot anymore because I cooked those first. So they're still warm. They're just not like, I can handle them. Piping hot. A little mustard. You don't really need the mustard, but I always switch condiments and then just keep one on handy just to make it a little less boring. I don't find it boring, but I just like trying new condiments. I've talked about that before as well. So, boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I like them crispy. So, just to reiterate, 30 minutes and then an additional 5 at max crisp to make them a little more crispy. You don't have to do that. I choose to. If you don't like egg yolks, just fast forward for the next like 1 minute, because I do. So I'll actually use this and go in. Yeah. Brussels sprout. Yeah. Especially after a long day, which we'll get into in a second. This always hits. But let me get you an asparagus, and then we'll kind of chop it up a little bit. Roasted asparagus. SodaStream. Pepsi Zero. And that's the meal for today, man. Super simple. The chicken took about 35 minutes, but everything else probably took 10 minutes total cook time. So I folded my laundry while the chicken was cooking, and then the last 10 popped back and made the rest of this. A busier 4th than usual. I intended to vlog this, but it just didn't work out that way. I got too busy because it became such a fluid situation. But y'all can't hear that, but the fizz is like making a squeaky noise. I went to Coney Island today. The Nathan's Hot Dog, the 4th of July eating contest. I was there. It was my first time going. I've watched it on TV so many times. So what happened was this. About 4 months ago, I made a video on my TikTok and YouTube talking about like one of my favorite little struggle meals growing up and like an upgraded version that we did over the years. So what I usually like to do is make hot dogs and beans. This is relevant. This is kind of how like the brand deal came to fruition. But I like to do hot dogs and beans. And the brand we always use with the hot dogs was always Bush's Baked Beans. Like that was every time that my mom made that growing up, if we could, we get the Bushes. That was like the, the creme de la creme. So I said that in the video. Apparently Bush's saw the video. They go to my manager and they wanted to do something for the Nathan's hot dog on 4th of July. Along the same lines, basically that hot dogs are cool, but upgraded with Bush's. I was like, oh, damn, well, that's perfect. I even called my mom. I was like, yo, you never guess. Bush's Baked Beans slid through, and it was a whole thing, but super cool. Anyway, long story short, because of that, I had to head over there and shoot like a brand deal at the 4th of July parade or the 4th of July hot dog eating contest. So I had to go there super early for me, which means I had to leave my house by 8, so I was up at 7. It took about an hour and a half with like traffic, even though Coney Island is probably 20 miles from my house. It took that long. And a lot of people talking about taking a train. Parking wasn't bad. Traffic leading there was bad, but parking was right there. And I think I ended up paying like $5 a park, which is less than a train ticket these days. So I actually don't like taking trains because I don't like feeling confined to waiting for something if I don't have to. But it was cool to actually go see it in real life, but it was kind of surprising. Now, like I said, I intended to vlog it, so I have like probably 5 minutes of filming vlog, and then it quickly turned into me having to go all over the place because the situation was so fluid, so I couldn't vlog it because I had to shoot like the main footage. So I figured I would just talk about it. And on TV, because they show it on ESPN every year, it looks way more packed than what it really is. Now, there was a crowd there, but there was also a lot of beachgoers just going to Coney Island, which I was surprised. Growing up in Jersey, we always went down the shore. Really, the Jersey Shore is way more packed. And I noticed on the way back, a lot more people were going from Staten Island and Brooklyn down to Jersey than to Coney Island. So the beach was kind of quiet, which was cool. And you like wouldn't think so, considering, but I just noticed that. But the biggest thing I noticed was the main event was right, not necessarily at Nathan's, but it's like right outside of Nathan's, around the corner on the street, whereas Nathan's is right on the boardwalk. The original Nathan's, like the one that's been there for 100 years. That main block had a good crowd. Like people there. There was dudes like selling Joey Chestnut shirts and stuff like that. But surprisingly, after that, not that much people. When I used to watch on TV, I would think there was like thousands of people there. Couple hundred at the most, which still is a good crowd. But in my head, I guess I just thought it was going to be a lot more. But it was still cool to get over there. I haven't been to Coney Island in years. So just seeing some of like the, the Cyclone and the Wonder Wheel and just walking around there was cool. But I didn't get to really take in the sights because I was working. But got that done, drove back. Like I said, the traffic coming back from Jersey was way more than going into Coney Island. Especially in Staten Island. Everybody was going down there. I ended up going to Freddy's for a video because I just wanted to get out of New York because 4th of July fireworks, the city basically shuts down. Like it's hard to get in and out of the city because there's so much like security and stuff like that. So I was like, let me not risk it because by 3 p.m. it's going to be a zoo. So I ended up going to Freddy's, filming a video there, which was cool. And then got back to the crib to do like the fireworks stuff. Met up with a couple people. And they're all watching the fireworks, which brings me to my preachy yap of today. And I say this tongue in cheek because it's not literal, but something I always tell myself, and I have to practice all the damn time, especially around my friends. Don't let your friends mess your money up. Again, not literal in this sense, but it can be. What I mean by that is I have fitness goals that I can't really deviate like most people because my cheat meals are on camera, which means when I hang out with my friends, I really can't go out of my way to eat all the crazy food and stuff that they're consuming because then I'm really going to go over because I already had junk at Freddy's. So I get there and everybody's drinking beer. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Everybody's like grilling, hot dogs and all this other stuff. And they're like, you're not going to have anything? I'm like, nah, bro, I got to go home. Now I'm going to make my food there. I've been saying stuff to my friends like that for years, like 10 years at this point. Like, nah, I'm not going to drink. Nah, I'm not going to, have beer and stuff like that. Not to say that I don't occasionally drink or whatever it is, but today is not the day. I got to be up tomorrow. Got to film more stuff. So I knew I had to come home and have this. And every time that I say no, I always get 2 or 3 people like, oh yeah, because he's too good for this. Bro's trying to be a bodybuilder, or, oh yeah, now this guy thinks that he's like, I forgot who they said, but they named a famous YouTuber because they know like what I do. They're like, oh yeah, he's just trying to be like Mr. Beast. It wasn't Mr. Beast, but it was somebody else. And I was just like, nah, I'm good, man. Don't worry. Like, you know what I'm saying? But it always turns into that. And I know that some people under that sort of thing, because that's the definition of peer pressure, will cave and be like, nah, I'm not going to do that. Listen, funny enough, those are the same people that will tell me I'm lucky because I'm in shape. Or they'll tell me I'm lucky that, I have the job that I have. Now, luck, to me, is a thing. You definitely need it. But success, to me, is preparation and opportunity. You got to have an opportunity and you got to be a little lucky, but you still got to be prepared for it. Like, for example, say one of y'all had a chance to do something for your job, right? Had a chance for a promotion. Say you were like, I don't know, an investment banker or something in finance, and they gave you this really big account. You were like, listen, we're going to promote you. Here's your shot. Here's this big ass account. Take care of it. Handle it. You got this. And you weren't prepared for that, and you botched that. You're fired. At the very least, they're never going to ask you to do nothing again. But in the same thing, if you're fortunate enough to be given an opportunity and you've been prepared for that moment, you've been preparing for it, you get that opportunity, you do well, they can give you another one. Next thing you know, you might be running a company one day. And I think people miss that part because they're always calling people lucky, but you still have to kind of be prepared when that opportunity comes to you. Even in sports, as a high school athlete, you try and play in college, you don't know when them scouts are going to be watching your film. You don't know when them scouts are going to show up at your game. You have a good game in front of a scout because you were prepared in that game, it might get you some money as far as a scholarship or whatever. And it's the same thing. So sometimes, a lot of times, bro, even growing up, some of my friends, well, not them necessarily, but some of the people I grew up with, like, they ain't really doing nothing with themselves. And I'm not talking like they have dead-end jobs, because to me, if you're working, you're doing something with yourself. I'm talking about people who literally just wake up, get money from, their girl or their mom or whatever, and stand outside all day with a beer. Be outside the store just talking. Oh yeah, I could have did this, but they ain't really doing nothing. And those are the type of people that, instead of elevating themselves and trying to do something with themselves, they're going to try to talk you down and get away from what you're trying to do, mess up your money, mess up your success, mess up your fitness goals, whatever it is. That's when I say money, it's a broad thing. Don't let them people mess you up, bro. Even in high school, there you might have, this is a true story with me. My early years of high school, like freshman, sophomore year, I had a bunch of friends I used to hang out with, like going into high school, and they joined the sports teams with me, but they was just down a team because they just wanted to be down. You know what I'm saying? They wanted to be there, which is fine. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But when I was a freshman, I had an opportunity to suit up with the varsity and play with the varsity. I was lucky in that sense. 2 or 3 of the kids that I was hanging out with, I was cool with, they wanted to cut school. So they hit me up. Oh, let's go. We about to go to this person's house and do this, that, and third. I'm not really trying to do none of that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, bro, like we got practice this afternoon. What y'all doing? Oh, this dude, he always trying to do, like, that was what I got. The person's house they was at, the parent came home, caught them cutting school, called the school, they got suspended. All 3 of them missed their freshman football game and eventually ended up quitting the team. And a few of them eventually ended up not even finishing high school. And I saw very quickly, as I saw that writing on the wall, that I can't chill with them no more. I actually cut them off, bro. Like, I literally was like, man, I'm good with y'all, bro. Like, y'all, they're like, oh, you trying to act like you too good for us. And I'm like, nah, y'all about to mess up my money. You know what I'm saying? And if I would have stayed with them, I probably I could never see myself doing that, but I would have ended up like them. You know what I'm saying? And that's what a lot of people fall victim to. Sometimes where you gotta make executive decisions. So I ended up hanging out with a bunch of the kids that I knew was on the right path. I'm not saying they was gonna go to the NFL or nothing like that. One of them actually did, but I at least knew that they was gonna like not be out messing around, and they was gonna still do what they had to do. And I never really like was cool with them like that no more. You know, sometimes you're gonna have to do that as an adult, as a college student, as a kid, whatever it is. But if you really want something and you want to do it, don't let them mess your money up, because they will. And the funny part is, when y'all all sitting there, if I was the other person sitting there when they all got suspended in the principal's office like this, it wasn't like they weren't going to treat me no differently. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how we ended up there, but you know how these Yap sessions go. I don't really know what I'm going to say before I turn the camera on. But some of y'all older, you might have gone through already. Some of y'all might be going through something like that right now. Ask yourself, the people you surround you with, are they like-minded? Are they trying to be somewhere? Are they trying to be somebody? And again, I'm not talking about being uber successful. I'm talking about just being an upstanding citizen. Anybody who gets up and goes to work every day and does what they're supposed to do, that's part of being an adult, part of being a man or a woman, but that's part of being an adult. All that other stuff that people say, oh, like bro's 20 or 30 or 40 and they're not doing this. To me, an adult is this: whatever business you got to handle, whether that's providing for your family, could be just providing for yourself, could be just taking care of whatever you got to do at work. If you handling your business, you're an adult. If your family is foremost to you and you're supposed to take care of your family, and you get up every day and you go to work and you punch that clock or you do whatever you're supposed to do, you want to play video games or drink beer outside of that, be my guest. But as long as you are handling business and that other stuff is not in the way of handling business, then do that. But as soon as I realized that what they were doing was in the way of business, or was in the way of that money, they had to go. And it just made me think about that today, because, you know, they're still my people and they're not in the way of it, because I'm smart enough to just be like, nah, I'm not finna do that, or I'm not hanging out tonight, or I'm not doing this, that, and third. But if they got in the way of it, they gotta go too. So I just want to talk about that today. I don't know how we got there, but I hope y'all enjoyed this, man. Somebody said there's no outro on the channel is the outro on this channel. I think you're right.